are mining with exploration licenses. So we have to be careful with that. I think the ministry can set in motion this kind of cooperation with the security agencies. Secondly, I want to talk about export of minerals and the importation of mining equipment. The Minerals and Mining Act, as one of its incentives, says importation of mining equipment is duty-free. But with recent experience, the custom is showing a lot of ignorance, or I would say stiff neck, about this issue. These are the things we can use to really attract investment. But when people come and they bring in dump trucks, even crushers, and the customs say no, they don't even know what is mining equipment. I think the ministry should have a standing committee with the customs, the NIPC, and even the immigration on this issue, so that anytime somebody tries to enjoy this incentive, the standing committee is there to work with the custom. The port of entry should be known, and then the custom people will be properly educated. We have had instances where people's mining equipment have been kept in the port for up to 9 months because the custom is waiting to be convinced that this is mining equipment, despite the fact that this ministry has written to the Ministry of Finance giving that clearance. This is a very serious problem regarding investment. Then exploitation of minerals. There should also be this standing committee that whenever you want to export minerals, maybe we should start thinking of bonded warehouse. When you keep the goods you want to export, it is inspected by everybody, the mines inspectorate, to be sure that what you are exporting, you are paid royalties and all others on it, and the lease from where you are taking these minerals, you have fulfilled all your obligations regarding the Minerals and Mining Act. So we should set this committee. It also applies to the exportation of mineral samples. This is from our experience. There's always a delay because those days it is the mines officer in the state that gives you permit to export samples. So it was easier. But now we have brought big bureaucracy. It has to even go to the minister. This is serious, just samples. So I think the ministry should take note of all this. These are just a few observations I want to make. Thank you very much.
Deliberate on all the areas that mining as a business would cover. However, in the 5 papers that were presented yesterday and in the thematic group discussions, these issues are intertwined, and in most of the discussions they came up. The first issue you raised is that of the problem with customs. Is it? Oh, sorry, the Zorak issue. There are so many Zoraks in Nigeria, and it depends on what the people who are really behind this illegal activities. Yes, a lot of people are mining under exploration licenses. They have not even acquired either small-scale mining or mining lease, proper mining lease. And so they use their positions to buy security. And it is very unfortunate that once you can afford it, you can obtain protection from the police, the civil defense, and the military today in Nigeria. And these security agencies don't care to look at your status, as in whether you are a genuine license holder, and they do not clear with the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development, neither do they clear with the relevant agency of the ministry. So under these guys, you will be surprised to know that even our federal mines officers in the states are chased away by these security operators. Report came to me that one evening, a friend of mine who is a retired public officer, he was just farming in his farmland. He saw 3 helicopters lifting off from a particular minefield of a very important personality, flying below the radar cover, heading towards the Niger Republic. And we know that they mine gold in that place. So if you send a federal mine officer to that place, he will not have access anyway, at the risk of his life. And there are military personnel guarding that place. So these are some of the issues we are contending with. And that was why it took, to set an example, it took the whole Minister of Mines and Steel Development along with the National Security Advisor. They would have gone with the Director General of SSS and the Chief of Defense Staff. That was the plan. These 4 were to be on that aircraft. But 2 had engagements, they couldn't go. So the Minister and the NSA had to go and effectively shut down that mine and declare that area a special mining zone that is under federal government supervision. There will be more of such things, because as we have heard yesterday, bulk of the tin and the lead, zinc and the gold that leaves Nigeria, they go under the radar. That is, they are smuggled out. But please, it bothers me as much as it bothers you. Alhaji Jumo, how can 500 tons of lead zinc leave our ports without a customs officer or anybody raising alarm? It bothers me. You know, it's like those of you who know what volume, tonnage of lead zinc is, or barite, or you know, or even tin. How do this is a large cargo mineral. So how do they get to the port? If you advocate the use of a special what is it, holding zone or bonded warehouse, of course they were in a warehouse at the port. You know, so something is really happening. But to address your concern, about 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, we have instituted an interface with the Nigerian Customs Service. Myself, the Minister of State, and a number of our directors booked an appointment, and we went to the Nigerian Customs Service, and we had a very lengthy but fruitful discussion. We set up a committee of directors between us and them, and we have configured that our website will be interlinked with the customs website, so that anything that has to do with mineral export or impoundment, the moment they touch the button, we will receive it in our system. So we are doing that collaboration, and we shall strengthen it moving forward. Oh, the issue of mining equipment. I really sympathize with the situation that your company experienced, the experience of your company, and we address this matter directly with the Controller General of Customs. Now, he told us that the problem they have is this. Dangote Group, for instance, let me just an example, has a construction wing. They are involved in construction and they are also involved in mining. So if they bring equipment like dump truck that can perform functions in construction, they cannot actually separate it from or excavators. So they have this difficulty. Now, Nigerian Customs is under pressure. Excuse me, they are under tremendous pressure to generate revenue. Ministry of Mines is under pressure to generate revenue. But in our own case, we are under obligation also to give waivers to mining equipment. So there is a challenge between us and customs. But in fact, that should not even bother you more than, because if they say they give waiver to custom duty waiver, there is also another aspect of the waiver that is very crucial. If they give waiver to custom duty, what about the VAT? There is a VAT component. You should be arguing for the VAT also to be removed. As long as, I mean, as far as mining equipment is concerned, if you give waiver for importation of excavators, for instance, if you give waiver for importation of excavators, you should also give waiver for the VAT component of that excavator, so that the equipment will come in free. You know, I think that should bother you more. But we are working with customs now. As I have said, we have discussed your matter very extensively with the Director General, Controller General of Customs, and we have found a way to solve these issues. I don't think there are ever any bottlenecks with export permits. And let me announce here that the Honorable Minister of Mines and State Development had given me permission to excise the permit issuance functions of the Mine Inspectorate Department and create a separate department for mineral investment promotion and mineral trade. That department was created just 2 weeks ago with a director. Investment promotion and mineral trade. That department will be responsible for issuing all the permits you require. Is it permit to own the mineral, permit to export, permit to buy, permit to take samples out? This department will be responsible for that. And we are populating that department with the relevant officers.
In that book, and they keep insisting that they will only go by what their book says. So I think even in cases that there is no gray, that is the insistence of the officers, that if it is not printed and reflected in their book, no waiver. So we think also some simple things like that make it harder for them to accommodate that. Thank you, sir.
I think this is a very simple matter. If you like, the part numbers, the equipment numbers, identify the equipment ammunition that you are ordering. We give you a letter to that effect. But like I said, if you inform us beforehand, then the interface that we have with the customs would clear this. We would inform the customs that we are expecting so equipment from so company. This is a bona fide company licensed to mine, and we have cleared them to import so equipment because we have their mining plan. Yeah, and these are the equipment they require to execute that mining plan.
Be able to harmonize all what we have been discussing in the last 2 days. Let me just say that we had to work within a very short time because we had quite a whole load of things to look at. The Federal Republic of Nigeria, Ministry of Mines and State Development, National Council of Mining and Mineral Resource Development. The maiden National Council is a preamble. The maiden National Council for Mining and Mineral Resources was held between 12 to 14 September 2017 at Nigerian Air Force Conference Center and Suites at Kado, Abuja. There were participants across the 3 tiers of government and myriad of industry players. This was followed by thematic sessions in these areas: mining sector governance, challenges of federal and state cooperation, overview and perspective of illegal mining operations in Nigeria, overcoming the menace, illegal mining and export challenges, policy recommendations, effective monitoring of mines field, imperatives for reduction of security challenges and economic sabotage. And 5, creating effective regulation and legal framework for the mining sector. Arising from these thematic discussions and the different thematic groups, the following other listed resolutions were thereafter agreed upon. Mineral sector governance, challenges of federal and state cooperation. 1. There should be synergy between federal, state government and local government areas through the instrumentality of MERENCO as provided by Section 19 of the Nigerian Mining and Minerals Act 2007. The committee should be strengthened where it already exists and reactivate the dormant committee in every state of the operation. 2. There should be synergy between the Ministry of Mines and State Development and the state governments to improve operational collaboration and enhance communications for effective execution of the mining roadmap and sectoral growth. 3. There should be synergy between the federal government of Nigeria and the state government to improve. Sorry, that's a repetition. Sorry. 3. That the federal government of Nigeria should encourage indigenous participation in the mining sector. 5. In accordance with the Nigerian Minerals and Mining Act 2007 and the regulations thereof, the landowner gives a consent after due process. The consent will be authenticated by the relevant state's ministry or agency. NMSD should be forwarding list of license holders in every state of the Federation to their respective state governments on quarterly basis for transparency. 7. That in view of the need to ensure proper utilization of acquired mineral titles, the ministry should empower the relevant inspectorate agencies stroke staff to carry out their duties and enforce necessary sanctions by providing them with adequate mobility, security, and other logistical needs. 8. That state government should create a conducive environment for investors to operate before making demands for community stroke social amenities and tax. Thematic Group 2. Illegal mining and export challenges, policy recommendations. 1. The stakeholders unanimously rejected the single export window policy. Further details and useful feedback were: the recommendation is an alternative to the single export window. Either government gives the exporter a parallel market in country as a guarantee that pays in full for the goods according to the international pricing, or the government focuses on initiatives towards creating the minerals exchange. 2. Stakeholders suggested the focus of government should be revenue collection, plugging loopholes for data and revenue leakages. 3. Government should set up desks or posts at every exit point and ports in the country for quantity and quality analysis. This will monitor and record all mineral exports and ascertain appropriate royalties and certification, including the installation of way bridges, credible international inspection outfits, and the likes. This will also promptly address the mineral revenue leakage through Tinkan Island Port, as it is presently a major access port for illegal export process. 4.